Have you ever noticed how sometimes just one word,
Mm.
it can sort of slice through all the waffle and just nail a situation
Mm.
or feeling or, even a person?
Oh, absolutely. Like finding that perfect single key.
Exactly. It unlocks this whole other level of like precision. We use common words all the time, obviously, but sometimes the real power hitters
Mhm.
are hiding out in the less common corners of English. Little gems, really.
Linguistic treasures.
Yeah. So today on the deep dive, we're going on, well, a linguistic treasure hunt, our mission, to dig into 5 specific, maybe less common English words.
Mhm.
The idea isn't just, memorizing definitions. It's about getting the feel, the nuance, the impact these words have, giving you some really sharp new tools for thinking and expressing yourself.
Right.
So by the end of this deep dive, you, our listener, should have a much better feel for just how precise language can be,
Mm.
and maybe a couple of new favorite words, too.
And it's interesting because the source material we're looking at today is basically just a set of definitions for these 5 words.
Yeah.
Simple. But each word is distinct. Yeah. But looking at them together, well, it gives you this really fascinating glimpse into how subtly we can talk about human behavior, emotions, abilities, that kind of thing.
Nuance.
Exactly. Understanding them isn't just about sounding smart, though. It actually helps sharpen your critical thinking, your observation skills.
So,
Well, it lets you get beyond just general descriptions, Gives you the actual words for complexities you might have felt before but couldn't quite, well, name. It's like upgrading the resolution on your thinking, seeing things clearer.
okay, I like that. Updating the resolution.
Like,
Let's sharpen that mental lens then. Get ready, everyone, because we're about to add some, I think, really interesting words to your toolkit.
let's do it.
Our first word today, and it feels like a good place to start, is alacrity.
Alacrity. Nice one.
Alacrity. Even the sound of it feels kind of light and energetic, doesn't it?
Oh, yes.
Our source defines it as cheerful readiness or eagerness.
Yeah.
And the example given is, she accepted the invitation with alacrity, excited to join the event.
Mhm.
So this isn't just being willing or happy about something. It seems to imply this really active, almost like joyful eagerness.
Yeah.
A promptness that comes from real enthusiasm.
Yeah, that's cute.
That bounce in the step, that immediate yes,
Yeah.
without hesitation. It says a lot about how engaged someone is.
Exactly. And I think a really important distinction is that alacrity isn't just feeling excited inside. It's the outward showing of that enthusiasm.
Oh, right, the demonstration.
Yeah, the prompt, cheerful willingness to act. Think about it, right? Someone just agrees to do something. Okay, fine.
Sure.
But if they agree with alacrity, well, that means zero hesitation, no dragging their feet. There's this genuine, almost sort of infectious buzz about them. You can feel their readiness.
Like the difference between someone mumbling, yeah, I guess I can help, versus someone beaming, absolutely, let's do it,
Yeah.
and already rolling up their sleeves.
Mhm. Precisely. That second person, that's alacrity. It paints this picture of someone who isn't just ready, but actually genuinely thrilled to be ready. It really captures a specific, positive human thing, that immediate spirited yes.
And you mentioned the origin.
Oh, yeah. It comes from the Latin alicer, meaning lively or cheerful.
Right.
Really underlines that core feeling, doesn't it?
It does. So it's the attitude, the spirit behind the action, not just the action itself, that adds so much depth. But it makes me wonder, can alacrity be faked?
Oh, interesting question.
And if it can, how would you spot fake enthusiasm versus the real deal? Is there a tell?
That's a really good point. I mean, sure, someone can act enthusiastic, right, put on a show. But I think true alacrity often has this sort of unforced natural quality.
Right.
Fake alacrity might feel, I don't know, maybe a bit too much, a little over the top. Or maybe it just doesn't quite match their usual vibe.
Right, inconsistency.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas genuine alacrity, you often see it with engaged eye contact, open body language, a sort of sustained positive energy, not just a quick burst. It's about that authenticity kind of shining through.
That makes sense. It's a subtle thing to watch for.
Yeah.
Okay, so if alacrity is about being really open and positive,
Yeah.
let's flip completely. Let's talk about a word for someone who shows absolutely nothing. Our second word, inscrutable.
Ah, inscrutable. Good one.
This one always makes me think of ancient statues or maybe a spy novel character, someone with that silent, knowing look.
Totally. The source defines inscrutable as impossible to understand or interpret.
Impossible. That's strong.
It is. The example is, his inscrutable expression made it hard to tell what he was thinking. And this is way beyond just being hard to read. We might say someone's stoic if they don't show much emotion.
Right.
But inscrutable, That takes it up a notch. It suggests there are basically no clues. Nothing. Zip. You can't get anything from their face or manner.
So it's not just a lack of expression, it's like an active void.
Yeah, exactly. A void of interpretable information. It's the difference between, say, a locked door, there's something behind it, and just a blank wall, where you can't even tell if a door exists.
A blank wall. Yeah, I get that. I can totally picture, like you said, a high-stakes poker player. That perfect poker face. Utterly unreadable.
Oh,
Inscrutable.
perfect example.
Or maybe in diplomacy, right, where not giving anything away could be a real strategic plus. It's almost like a superpower in some ways. But thinking socially, or maybe professionally, could being inscrutable actually get in the way? Could it hurt communication or, like, building trust?
Oh, it absolutely can, yes. While being inscrutable can be protective, definitely, especially if things are competitive or tricky, it can be a huge barrier when you need to collaborate or show empathy or just connect with people genuinely.
Because you're giving them nothing to connect with.
Exactly. People who are inscrutable often seem distant, maybe cold, maybe even a bit untrustworthy, precisely because you can't access their inner world at all. We rely so much on nonverbal cues, right, to build rapport, to understand each other. An inscrutable person just shuts that whole channel down. So while it might command a certain respect for their composure,
Yeah, their control.
it definitely creates social distance. It's interesting how a lack of information can be just as powerful as having lots of it.
That's a really powerful point. The absence of information speaks volumes sometimes. And sometimes inscrutable is the exact word you need for that specific, maybe frustrating quality. Okay. So, if inscrutable means revealing nothing, let's talk about revealing maybe too much, but not always genuinely. Our third word touches on a very different, often kind of awkward interaction.
Obsequious.
Obsequious. Yeah, that one has a certain feel to it.
It does, doesn't it?
A bit
A slippery, almost. The definition we have is excessively eager to please or obey, servile.
excessively servile. Key words there.
Right, and the example nails it. The waiter's obsequious behavior made the guests uncomfortable. This isn't just being polite or helpful, is it? It's like deference taken way too far. Precisely. The heart of it is in those words. Excessively and servile. It describes behavior that really crosses a line. It goes from genuine helpfulness or, normal respect into somewhere much more uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable is the right word.
Obsequiousness suggests a lack of, self-respect maybe, or at least a lack of sincerity. It often feels driven by wanting something, maybe approval, maybe avoiding trouble, maybe just an over-the-top need to be liked.
And it makes other people feel weird because
Because it feels unnatural, maybe even manipulative, like the person is practically throwing their dignity away in this very obvious, almost desperate bid to get favor. It lacks the sort of integrity you feel with real service or respect.
that waiter example really works then.
Yeah.
A good waiter is attentive, right? They anticipate needs. But an obsequious waiter is, like you said, excessively eager, hovering too much, maybe agreeing with absolutely everything, laying on the flattery thick.
Exactly, fawning.
Yeah, fawning. You can almost sense this hidden agenda, and it's not just about good service. It feels off. This word gives us a precise label for that specific unease you feel when someone is trying way too hard to be agreeable, and it just rings false.
It does, and the word itself, interestingly, comes from Latin obsequium, which just meant compliance or deference. But in English, it really picked up that negative vibe, that sense of being almost slavish.
So understanding obsequious helps us tell the difference between real respect and something else.
Yeah, something less authentic. It's actually a pretty useful critical thinking tool, for judging motivations in different situations, socially or at work.
Like at work.
Sure. Think about an employee who's genuinely supportive versus one who's just obsequious. It makes a huge difference to team trust and how things actually function. This word lets you pinpoint why a certain behavior feels wrong, instead of just saying someone is, too nice or something vague.
Right. It flags a potentially problematic dynamic. Good point. Okay, so we've gone from excessive subservience. Let's now look at a distinct lack of something, specifically a lack of ability. Our next word describes a fundamental absence of skill, ineptitude.
Ineptitude. Yeah, right away that's not a good thing.
Definitely not a compliment.
Yeah.
Our source says it's a lack of skill or ability, and the example paints a picture many of us can probably relate to, unfortunately. His complete ineptitude at cooking turned dinner into a disaster.
Oh dear, been there.
Right. This isn't just about being bad at something one time or making a single mistake. It implies this sort of fundamental, almost built-in lack of the right skills, kind of helplessness that almost guarantees failure.
Yes, and that's a really important distinction. Ineptitude isn't just having an off day or messing up once. It describes a really deep-seated, almost intrinsic absence of the competence you need.
That phrase in the example, complete ineptitude.
Exactly, it really highlights it. This word captures not just a poor performance, but a fundamental, often kind of consistent inability to do a task well, which leads directly to things going wrong.
Like the difference between a great chef having one bad night versus someone who, genuinely struggles to boil water without causing chaos.
Precisely. It often points to a lack of basic aptitude for that particular thing, not just a momentary slip-up.
That's a great way to put it. Not a lapse, but a persistent deficiency.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not always huge things, right? It could be constantly fumbling with simple tools or always misunderstanding basic instructions.
Absolutely. Small-scale ineptitude exists too.
I once tried to assemble some flat-pack furniture following online instructions.
Yeah.
Let's just say it ended with a very wobbly table and a mysterious leftover screw. I definitely felt a moment of complete ineptitude just staring at it, totally baffled.
Uh-huh. A classic relatable moment of ineptitude. And you raise a good point. While ineptitude in contexts like that, your DIY adventure, can sometimes be kind of funny or even endearing.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
It generally carries a negative weight when it actually impacts how effective or reliable someone is. Endearing clumsiness might be temporary or very specific, like someone who trips a lot but is brilliant at their job.
Okay.
But ineptitude suggests a more basic, widespread lack of skill in an area where skill is kind of expected or needed. And recognizing that, well, it's important.
How so?
Well, think about managing a team or just planning a project. Identifying where there's genuine ineptitude, not just a need for practice, but a fundamental lack, helps you delegate properly, maybe arrange targeted training, or just assign resources better, making sure tasks go to people who actually can do them.
That makes sense. It leads to better problem diagnosis, doesn't it? Are we sometimes too quick to blame bad luck or lack of effort when it's actually just ineptitude, a real lack of skill?
That's a very sharp question. Accurate diagnosis is definitely the first step to fixing things effectively.
Okay, so we've talked about lacking skill. Let's completely flip that now and finish with a word that's all about skill and composure, especially when things get tough. Our final word today, a really admirable quality, is aplomb.
Aplomb, a great word.
Aplomb. It just sounds cool and confident, doesn't it? Like a little flourish.
It does, very smooth.
Our source defines it as self-confidence or assurance, especially in a demanding situation. And the example shows its power perfectly. She handled the tough questions with aplomb. So this isn't just everyday confidence. It's about keeping your cool, your grace, your composure, specifically when you're under pressure, when the heat is on.
That's absolutely the core of it. It's not just walking into a room feeling confident. It's maintaining that poise, that self-assurance, precisely when things get challenging or unexpected or difficult.
Right, when it matters most.
Someone acting with aplomb shows this coolness, this collectedness. They have this kind of inner balance even when they're being grilled or facing setbacks or under the spotlight.
They don't get flustered.
Exactly. No faltering, no visible stress. It suggests this deep internal well of resilience and self-possession. Interestingly, it comes from the French phrase aplomb, which means according to the plumb line.
Oh, like perfectly vertical, balanced.
Precisely, that idea of perfect balance and stability.
That really fits. It conjures this image of someone who's just unflappable.
Yeah.
Who not only performs well, but does it with this sort of effortless style, even when the situation is anything but easy. Handling tough questions with aplomb, you immediately think of a seasoned expert, skilled thinker, a leader who really knows their stuff and themselves and just doesn't crumble. It's such a powerful trait to see. A great word for that specific kind of composed competence.
You're thinking bigger picture. Developing aplomb is actually a really valuable life skill, way beyond specific jobs. Think about any high-pressure situation, emergencies, sports, public speaking, leading a team. Developing aplomb isn't just about being confident. It's often a kind of learned psychological strength. Some studies even show that people who practice situational rehearsal, basically mentally walking through tough scenarios beforehand, can seriously boost their ability to respond with aplomb later.
So you can train yourself to have more aplomb.
Yeah.
Not just innate.
To a large extent, yes. It suggests that what we sometimes see as natural talent in high-pressure moments might actually be this cultivated ability to act with aplomb when it counts. It's not just what you know, but how you carry yourself, right?
Wow, that's a fantastic thought to chew on.
Yeah.
We've really covered some ground today, haven't we? Diving into these 5 pretty remarkable words.
We have.
We kicked off with Alacrity, that cheerful, energetic readiness, then swung over to Inscrutable, the sort of unreadable poker face, then Obsequious, that uncomfortable, over-the-top eagerness to please.
Followed by Ineptitude, the real fundamental lack of skill.
And we wrapped up with Aplomb, that wonderful, self-assured grace under fire. Each one gives us this unique, super precise lens for looking at the world and, well, talking about it better.
Definitely.
They aren't just fancy substitutes, are they?
Yeah.
They give you the exact word for things you might have noticed but struggled to pin down before, letting you name subtle behaviors and traits really accurately.
And, connecting that to the bigger picture. Building your vocabulary isn't just about sounding smarter. It's actually about expanding your whole capacity to, understand, analyze, and describe what's going on around you with way more accuracy, more insight. Every word we learn, really, it's like a new tool for thinking critically, for expressing complex stuff. It really is like upgrading the resolution on your mental camera, like we said earlier. Helps you catch details you might have just glossed over before.
Absolutely. So here's a little challenge for you, our listener. Try to actively use maybe 1 or 2 of these words this week, in your thoughts, maybe even in conversation if it feels right.
Yeah, good idea.
Just pay attention. See if you spot situations or behaviors where one of these words fits perfectly. You might be surprised how often they come up and how much clearer you can be.
Which sort of leads to a bigger question, doesn't it? In this world that's just overflowing with information and really complex interactions, how much subtle understanding are we actually missing just because we don't have the right words? What other uncommon words are out there just waiting to unlock deeper insights for you?
That is a genuinely thought-provoking question to end on. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the power of precise, uncommon words. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep sharpening that linguistic toolkit.
Until next time.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.